Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense. Sort of. But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're lost on Lost.
Welcome everybody to Lost on Lost. I'm Adam Busher, and I'm joined as always by Junior Chess Grandmaster JP Russell.
Well, I came in third last year, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are. That was my whole banter section that I have wrent, was your third place finish in last year's chess tournament.
Yeah, well, I'm still a little bitter about it, so, you know.
All right, what should we talk about instead? So JP, the work trip is coming to a close.
Yeah, so I hear.
So you're told. And we've been intentionally vague about it this entire time, just because, you know, we don't know what we can talk about, what we want to talk about yet, or what you, the listener, might be interested in hearing about. If you have questions about the work trip, like what it was, what we had to do to keep the show going during the duration of the work trip, anything like that, please send us your questions about it, or just comments or anything like that. That way we won't have to cut into like our normal, you know, excellent, hilarious Lost on Lost content by talking about like podcasting logistics and stuff like that. So yeah, if y'all out there have questions about the work trip, about what it was and what it entailed, you know, shoot us an email at wearelostonlost@gmail.com. You can DM us on Instagram. Twitter might still be around. You can DM us on Twitter.
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever.
Now, on to the rest of it. Today we are talking about Enter 7-7, the 11th episode of Season 3 and the 60th episode of Lost overall. Our eccentric character is everyone's second favorite $5 an hour fry cook, Saeed-Jarrah. Enter 7-7 takes place on the 79th day after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. JB.
That's me.
Got a recap?
I hope so.
Do it.
Enter 77 in this economy. On the island, our A-team makes some new friends. Mikhail, a cat, and some dead lady. We get more questions than answers about a lot of things. Who's Dharma? Who's a hostile? Who wants to play some chess? Damn it, Locke, we're going to need you to focus up here. Lives are on the line. On the beach, ping pong. That's it. No notes, just ping pong. And in the before time, Saeed meets up with some old friends. Isn't it good to just meet up with people, you know, just have real conversations? Not a cell phone in sight. People just living in states of constant torture. Good thing you guys shot that lady. Otherwise, Jack might try to sleep with her. Queen's Gambit, more like I spent 77 hours trying to look for a joke that rhymes with Gambit. Let's talk about it here today on Lost on Lost. Not my strongest intro. I'm tired. I'm not hydrated. I'm not moisturized. But you know what I am, Adam?
What are you, JP?
I'm looking in the face of our guest.
That's a weird way to put it, but yes, you are.
Here we are. Welcome to the show, Bre Solmone.
Hi.
Welcome, Bre.
Nice to be here.
Is it?
It's
Why?
okay. I don't know, it's just nice to look you in the face sometimes.
Been told quite the contrary a lot.
Just take the fucking compliment, JP. Christ.
Anyways, so Bre, you're our first official guest of the work trip. Our previous one, Jen Messina, known gold chain enthusiast Jen Messina, her episode had to get scrapped for technical reasons. But you're here with us today of your own free will.
Sure.
You're not being coerced in any way, right?
There are definitely no guns pointed at me right now.
Well, I mean, just the normal ones. Bre, tell us a little bit about yourself. We normally start with what, if any, is your background with the ABC television program Lost?
I vaguely remember it being on when I was in, middle school? But I never watched it because I was reading a lot of books at the time.
Nerd!
That's fair. But yeah, I have no idea what's going on here.
That is something that I want to get into. So while you weren't watching Lost, you are an avid book enthusiast.
Yes, I'm enthused about books.
Yeah, so what kind of stuff do you typically read?
Coincidentally, I was reading a lot of dystopian stuff. And people stranded on desert islands or something like that. I don't know. Deserted islands. I guess I was reading about it and not wanting to see it. I don't know what was going on. I was like 12.
So as opposed to reading about the past, like in history, you're just reading about the not too distant future.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. And then when you're watching TV, what kind of stuff do you like to watch?
Anything with lesbians in it.
Well, that makes 3 of us.
Did you say lesbians?
Yeah. Lebanese, my bad.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching Dahmer.
Oh, fuck yeah.
As controversial as it is in the Twitter sphere, that it's
Yeah.
probably going to be obsolete in about 2 days.
Hollywood has a real problem with taking, like, monsters, I guess, and then, like, making them hot.
Yeah, it's an issue.
Yeah, like in that movie Monsters, Inc., all those sexy monsters running around. It's a real problem for me.
They made a miniseries about Waco on the Paramount channel, and Taylor Kirsch played David Koresh, and everybody was like, why is David Koresh? Why do I want to bang David Koresh?
That is an issue.
I was going to say, Dahmer's a local boy done bad story, JP.
Oh, we've heckled him many a time.
Yeah, everybody keeps giving me shit about being from Milwaukee. But yeah, do you guys want to talk about some Lost?
Sure. So Enter 7-7 originally aired on March 7th, 2007. It was written by Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof and directed by Stephen Williams. For jokes about these 3 clowns, please go listen to Lost on Lost episodes 7, 10, 12, and 35. So, like, the show opens. My note is just Sawyer pensive.
Yeah, he seemed worried. He seemed anxious. I don't know.
The return of the high pony also.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I know we've been up and down on the high pony. I kind of like it this time around.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What a strange way to start the episode on, with all the high stakes that we're going to get into, and we're like, Sawyer wants his stuff back, and there's a ping pong table. That's the tension we're going to start out with.
It becomes a little bit more apparent, like, why he's so consternated. The pretense is like, yeah, all his stuff has been stolen, but like underneath, he's actually worried about Cade. I mean, he's trying to avoid feeling about that by focusing on his missing stash, I guess.
Hurley comes in. There's so much exposition dump in this episode where it's like, oh, the hatch exploded. Well, I thought it collapsed. Well, the sky turned purple. And it's just like, what am I supposed to do with all this information?
I think in my notes it says the sky is purple, and then my notes are the most random thing I've ever seen.
No, that's correct. You're doing it right.
It was like a stream of consciousness. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. So
the hatch explosion / implosion, the sky turning purple, is part of the season 2 finale, which we have yet to watch, which is why we are still pretty in the dark about it. So they're dragging the ping pong table out here. It has to be level, so let's set it up on the fucking beach. Next, this is the only thing like I actually liked from this first scene, is that Paolo comes wandering in with his magazine, and Sawyer's like, "That's mine." Sawyer's kind of like a bully. He's less so in season 3 as he is earlier, but like he's always kind of used to being just kind of brash and aggressive and then getting what he wants out of it. Paolo doesn't really do that. He pushes back, which is actually kind of nice. It's like one of the only decent things Paolo's ever done.
I don't care. I still cannot wait until he dies.
Yeah, same. But then the joke is like, he hands him, he's like, here's my magazine. I was using it in the shitter. And then Sawyer's like, ew.
How long have they been on the island at this
When's
point?
the last time any of you washed your hands? Never.
You've all just been living in filth.
Right,
It's
you're
fun.
covered in bacteria. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It would be more realistic if everybody was just covered in acne. Like,
a fact.
I was trying to figure out which issue of Guns and Ammo that was. It's not one that I own, and I think I own them all back to 88, so it must be a real old one.
And that just means that somebody was on 815 with the pre-88 Guns and Ammo. Or maybe they got it from the hatch. I don't know.
Maybe.
It happen.
Fell out with the ping pong table, apparently.
Yeah. They really do a lot of Sawyer making comments about Hurley. Like, it's got all these nicknames for him, but he also says something about the salad. Oh, yeah, that's really working for you. Like, we're really trying to set up early that, oh, yeah, in case you forgot all the other 5,000 fucking times that Sawyer has given an inappropriate, racist, fatphobic,
misogynistic,
misogynistic niche nickname to somebody. Hey, we're going to do it a bunch of times, like in the cold open.
Yeah.
Cut to the jungle. We got our A-team.
We've seen little slices of this mission. This is an ongoing mission throughout season 3 that takes the span of something like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So we've seen the beginning of it, we've seen the end of it, we've seen the middle of it.
But we cut to the cold open, I wanted this one to be the Always Sunny theme, where it's like the one where the crew grabs Mikhail.
The gang captures Mikhail. Because, yeah, we've seen later in this same mission, Mikhail already with them in captivity. Like, covered in blood and tied up and fucked up.
I feel fairly confident that they get out of this pickle.
Yeah. The four of them, Locke, Kate, Saeed, and Danielle, they're still just like trucking through the jungle. I think, if I'm remembering right, the ultimate goal is to get to the others because they still have Jack.
Whoever that is.
Yeah, he's the white savior.
Ah, gotcha.
But yeah, like their stated mission isn't to just like go parlay with the others or anything like that. They're specifically trying to get Dr. Hero back. They stop for water. Like Saeed doesn't think that this is going to work because I forgot this entirely. They're following a compass heading that was carved into Echo's stick that fell on John from a tree after Echo got murdered by this smoke monster.
You got all that, Bre?
He got murdered by what?
A smoke monster.
Oh.
Really gonna need you to keep up.
Seems legit.
I feel Saeed's sort of disbelief in the plan.
There's some little back and forth that him and John have about like the only bearing I got or something like that. I want to ask Bre, did you notice anything about when Saeed mentioned the bearing that they were using?
No.
Oh, he says they were using a bearing of 305 north. 305 is more west than it is north.
I saw the compass, and I was like, it looks like it's pointing west, but far be it from me to correct the guy.
You know how men love taking directions from women?
I was like, maybe he knows something I don't.
Maybe it's because I was brought up on like a lot of Star Trek and stuff, but like anytime anybody refers to coordinates in a show, even if it's a show rooted in reality, like Lost, where they're like, oh, bearing 305, like in my head, I just hear them saying Star Trek coordinate, heading 812 Mark 5, and it's just gibberish to me. It's like, okay, they're moving.
Well, when you're using a compass, you use an azimuth, not a bearing.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of stock in early 2000s, like reality or research. They just throw something in there and you're like, sure, that works.
Yeah.
So just move the story along type deal, I guess.
Maybe in the Republican Guard they say bearing instead of azimuth.
Maybe.
Well, that's something that one of our recent guests, Brett and Tom, brought up. It's like, yeah, the writers probably weren't super outdoorsy people, and this was still in the day of just like, fuck it, just put it on television. Like, it doesn't matter. This is still early days of the internet. It's like, who could ever prove us wrong? Definitely not some chuckle fucks with a whole bunch of internet 16 years later.
Oh man, we got so much internet. Saeed closes his little he's like, when I get back, we're going to have a rational conversation about what we're doing. It's like, you guys have been walking for 2 days. The time to have the rational conversation was fucking 2 days ago.
His tolerance for bullshit was a lot higher than mine.
Yeah, I suppose 2 days into a jungle walk, my
like,
tolerance
fuck this. So he goes off to find some fruit, but he hears something while he's foraging.
Yeah.
It is the unmistakable sound of a bell on a cow's neck. I just say unmistakable, having heard that sound a lot of my life growing up in central Wisconsin. So maybe it's not unmistakable to other folk, which is cool because it's like the first domestic animal we've seen on the island. Maybe not chronologically, but like for us, I
wonder what happened to the cows at the end of the episode.
Oh, dude, that horse is fucking toast, bro.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, man, they killed the horse. Anyways.
Just beyond the cow, there is also a small building, which has a satellite dish on the top of it.
I'm pretty sure that was a CGI satellite dish, too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was like, really? You guys couldn't just get like an old-ass satellite dish and just toss on the top of that bitch?
We don't have time for that. CGI it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it going to look good? No.
And then the farm hand, as it were, there's a dude in a jumpsuit, and he turns to the camera to make sure we see his face from Saeed's point of view, and he's wearing an eye patch.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have seen Mikhail before on Lost, but also the characters have seen him at the Pearl Station.
Yeah, he was the dude on the camera. Chronologically, people don't still know who this guy is, but they have seen him before. Here on the podcast, we are well familiar with Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Just one of many characters named after philosophers.
Yeah.
And then I think that's the smash to the card.
Yeah, cold open.
Yeah. And then we
cue the Always Sunny theme.
We cut back to the beach. Before they were looking for a ball, Sawyer's got a ball.
I'm glad we didn't spend any more time on it than we did.
Yeah.
Because in the grand scheme of the episode, there wasn't that much time spent on it. However, I still feel like it was way too much time.
Yeah.
You already touched on it in the beginning. High stakes versus low stakes. There's nothing about this B story. It's no stakes. It's not even low stakes.
Like, you are going to give this man all his things back, and all you want is for him to stop calling you nicknames. I get it.
For a week.
Yeah, for a week. You didn't even say indefinitely. You have the power here,
Right,
people.
yeah.
It's just one guy.
Yeah.
Although, I suppose asking Sawyer to curb his racism for a week might feel like an eternity to him, so, you know.
But yeah, that's the thing. Is like, let's gamble for it. If I beat your champion at ping pong, I get my stash back. If you beat me, no nicknames for a week, which is Sun's idea, or Sun and Jin, it seems like, because they have a conversation in Korean, which we don't hear, and then she says, no nicknames for a week.
I would like to point out that in my notes, please remember I have not seen this show ever. So in my notes, it says racist white guy probably gets beat in ping pong by Asians, because I didn't know who they were. They're Asian, clearly. Then I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up, because it's not them playing, you know. It's fine.
Your own observation of racism was forwarded by your own racism, Bre. Jesus.
You live and you learn.
We all have room for improvement. We can all get better. Every day, just be a little bit better.
At ping pong or racism?
What? God damn it, JP.
Yes, I realized it, and I was like, you're a bad person.
I did really appreciate when Sawyer's like going through his list of like numbers or letters of how this is going to go, and he looks at Nikki like, second, who the hell are you? And then just immediately moves on. Because that's also what we have asked on the podcast. Who the fuck is this person?
He tells him to pick a champion. He'll be back in an hour.
Well, which, again, an hour? Why are we waiting an hour?
Right, just go.
Let's go. Time management, or deadline management.
Deadline
as
management.
Jake Jacobson said.
Exactly. Go back to the jungle. The A team is surveilling the house. This I loved. This I fucking
This
loved.
was really good. Yeah.
They're like trying to figure out what, like, okay, I'm gonna go over here and Russo's just, I don't even think she says anything. She starts leaving.
She's gonna Irish goodbye that shit.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, wait, where are you going? She's like, there's no fucking reward here. Like, there's only negatives. I'm out. Let me know how it goes.
You know, Russo has been on this island for a long time. But when you talk about like she's been by herself, it's not like Tom Hanks, who was alone on Castaway and was like all over the island. She has been in her little like 1,000 square meter area of the island, because she's like, if I venture out, I will be killed. Yeah. So like all this stuff is new to her too. She's like, I ain't fucking, everything's deadly on this island.
I mean, very smart.
I've survived 18 years on this island by avoiding shit like this. So do your Scooby Gang thing. If you guys live, I'll be over here. Saeed is just like, I'm going to leave my gun here. I'm going to head toward it. If somebody starts blasting, you start blasting, cover me or whatever. And he starts walking toward the house.
Yeah.
And at this point, we get our first flashback. Saeed is a chef at a French cafe.
Yeah, and he's chopping fucking onions and peppers during the lunch rush. What the fuck were your prep cooks doing that morning?
Exactly.
Not their fucking job. They were in the fucking freezer getting high again.
In the fucking walk-in, smoking a J. He's not the chef. He's not like the head chef. Like, he's a chef at this place. Like, yeah, he's chopping fucking onions. And then somebody, like a waiter or somebody, he just is like, hey, there's a dude out here who wants to talk to you. All right. Goes out onto the floor, and there's a dude there. She's just like, hey, did you make this thing? It's like, yeah. It's like, it's really good. Do you want to work at my restaurant? It's like, sure. Saeed's posing as a Syrian, because the guy asks, is like, where are you from or whatever? And he's like, I'm from Syria. And then the guy's like, no, you're not. You're Iraqi, because I'm Iraqi, and it takes one to know one or whatever.
I would like to point out that during the scene when they do the first push-in shot of Sammy, is it?
Sammy, yeah, Sammy.
The background extras, there's one guy who's like on the phone with like his foot up on like a step or something, and it's just like, this was our guy's like big chance to be on network TV, and he's like, man, I'm really in character right now. My character's not only on the phone, he would have a leg up on this prop or whatever. It's like,
I'm gonna be the best guy on the phone you've ever seen.
oh man,
this is gonna lead to
guy on phone.
more roles as guy on phone in other franchises. I'm gonna be huge. And that actor, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to take that back. And that actor, Colin Farrell, went on to star in Phone Booth.
No. I like the first one better.
Fine. Okay, real quick. If I'm Saeed, I'm like, no. I'm not doing this. I'm hypothetically some sort of fugitive from my past, if not from the legal system. If I'm doing something to hide my Iraqi heritage, and then another Iraqi guy comes up and is like, hey, I can tell you're Iraqi. Like, this dude was probably looking for me or Iraqis, hypothetically.
Right.
So, yeah, like, red flag. No, I got a job. They pay me really well here. Sorry, thanks for the offer, but don't ever come back here again.
Yeah, also, I'm packing up all of my belongings and leaving.
I'm immediately moving to the other side of the planet.
But that's also what I do every time I get a phone bill. I just pack up and I leave and I move to the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
So,
And that is an entirely appropriate reaction.
yeah, I mean, it's worked out pretty well for us so far.
Cut back to the jungle. So Saeed is approaching the farmhouse. He observes a couple of things. He sees a saddled horse.
An unexploded horse.
Yep.
At the time.
Yeah.
And then he gets blasted on.
Well, hold on. He sees the cat and he stares at the cat for a long time, which I was like, yeah, cat. I fucking love cats. And he stares at the cat and the cat stares back and he stares back at the cat. And I'm like, man, we're sure hanging on this cat for a long time. Blam! Gets blasted, gets one in the arm in like the cool spot to get shot.
Yeah. It's not going to do too much damage. You're still going to be able to use it, but there's going to be a bullet hole scar.
Exactly.
Like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you'll be able to use it in a couple of minutes. You'll be fine.
Oh, we're going to fucking get into that. Sure hope you like climbing up and down ladders, Saeed.
Mikhail seems to think that Saeed is with the others. He's like, you're with the others, or whatever. And which then you make the assumption as the audience member. It's like, oh, this guy's not with the others. It's a whole new faction, possibly a faction of one. He's like, no, I'm cool. Like I'm chill. Let's talk about it. And so Mikhail dips out of the window and comes to the door. And in the process, Locke and Kate come out and get the drop on him.
I'm sorry. They just shot your friend in the arm and he's now bearing down on you with a weapon again. This like, oh, we're going to shoot at his feet and hope that he like drops his weapon. Nah, dude, I'm blasting, old boy. Like
when I first, before I realized what was going on, I thought they just riddled him with holes.
I mean, they should have.
Right.
They just shoot at his feet like it's a Bugs Bunny cartoon in 1958.
Mikhail introduces himself as the last living member of the Dharma Initiative.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we don't know much about the Dharma Initiative.
And I don't think we're going to learn much by the end of this fucking 6 seasons of this show.
It's cool. It's like a little bit more mythology, a little bit more lore, even if it ends up being bullshit, which we do discover later. There's a new wrinkle. We were out here looking for Jack and the others, and we didn't think about the potential of running into this, this rogue element.
Sometimes the Jack is the rogue elements you meet along the way. I wanted to try something here for the podcast because this next scene, we go into Mikhail's fucking awesome looking cabin.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, especially considering that there's people like living in the fucking jungle doing
playing
nothing.
ping pong on the sand.
Yeah. We have, I think, one of the most extensive exposition dumps that we've come across so far
like
on this
since
show.
The pilot.
Yes. I would like all of us to simultaneously at the same time talking over each other, just list the exposition you have written down in your notes. All right, ready? Here's what happened. 1, 2, 3.
So Mikhail
Afghanistan.
He was dismissed
as a
from
member
the
of the Soviet
army.
Something about a newspaper.
flame?
Do you want to say the world? He was
wanted
on
to save the
island for a
world, I
living.
guess, because maybe he thought that the
station's called the
Soviet
Flame, and he's
invasion of
communicating with the
Afghanistan was a bad
outside
idea.
world.
And then I'm kind of zoned out, but then there was a submarine.
Yes.
I think we got all the exposition right there.
Yeah.
We just saved the audience 25 minutes of us asking what the fuck is all of that. So
They're
you're
welcome.
welcome.
There's a element in my head about like what I like to do as a creator. Like people who know me, like I'm an amateur writer. I'm a dungeon master. I do a lot of Dungeons and Dragons stuff like that. Characters are always so interesting to me. Is part of the reason why I liked this show.
Yeah.
And so for Mikhail to sit here and give us this blah 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 blah, you already do flashbacks about people,
Right.
And this 5 minutes of him yakking on about whatever, that is one of the most interesting foundations for a flashback about all the people that you've had on the show. Like,
Right.
say, for maybe Desmond. To subvert expectations of the show that you've already established by doing a flashback for a bad guy. Or, like,
Right.
because I know he's not a main character or whatever, but, like, it's the middle of season 3. Let's have our 15th Jack flashback. Mikhail's such an interesting character, again, that remains completely untapped.
Don't have this like, oh, we realize that we're all lying to each other or whatever. Like in one episode, maybe have him like be a friend in a turncoat then or something like that.
He
I don't know,
plays the string out a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Divoff does such a good job at playing this character who like is both evil yet
Kind of nice.
kind of nice.
Like he gave them iced tea.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, and we'll get into this a little bit later. I think maybe as we watch maybe season 4 and 5 and stuff like that. But like the others aren't evil,
Right.
They're the antagonists in the first half of the show, sure. But like Mikhail's not a bad guy And so that's what I like to even say, like, they should do a flashback for a bad guy. It's like, he's only the bad guy because of the circumstances of the show. He's not evil.
I actually liked him better than pretty much everybody else at the time.
Yeah.
He's very interesting.
For sure.
He gives this big exposition dump, and while he's doing that, John Locke really wants to play on the computer.
John Locke, everybody's dad, has now turned into everybody's annoying nephew. Do you have any games?
Holy shit. Who the games on your phone?
Like, and then the intensity of how he was staring at, do you want to play, yes or no? I don't know. Make the adult decision to finish the job you were given when you go in there.
Yes.
It's wild to me. You're an adult human being and you're like, I don't know, those games look kind of cool. It's chess on a computer.
I mean, if it was Crash Bandicoot, I would have understood.
okay,
Yes.
But like, I don't know. Like, I do get it as a person who I'm sure I probably have some form of ADHD, because I'm like, man, it's the night before taxes are due, but I am reading about how the Byzantine Empire fell.
We have so much in common.
But like, lives aren't on the line there. I'm like,
Right.
John, someone got shot. We had someone at gunpoint seconds ago, and you're like, oh yes, the game of chess. The
He's
king's game.
holding a gun. Like, not even like, in his other hand, in his non-chess hand, he's holding a fucking gun.
He's like, what move should I do? And he scratches his head with the pistol.
Fucking barrel, yeah. So it's born out of Locke sort of like casing the joint. He's like looking around. So he started out with, I think, good intentions to sort of make sure they're in relative safety, but he gets distracted so easily by this computer. And then, like in the other room while this is happening, Mikhail is explaining the purge while he's explaining the purge to Kate and Saeed. He explains the satellite dish doesn't work. Like it's broken. Like, and that's the big useful thing for the episode. It's like no comms. So
I really like the line that he said he survived this long by not participating, which is exactly what Russo's doing. She's she's smoking a J down by the river. She's cool.
Oh shit! I didn't know you were chilling.
Chilling was an option. I'm gonna go take a walk with my cousin on Christmas Eve.
Flashback. Saeed goes to Sammy's restaurant. There's just some dudes there, like just hanging out, and he wanders in. He's like, "Hey, Sammy, offered me a job. I'm here." And then Sammy comes out and he's like, "Hey, check it out. What's up? It's all good." And then this woman comes out. Saeed immediately recognizes her. You can tell, and she's got scars on her hands. And then Sammy's like, "Hey, is this the guy who ruined your whole life?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think it is. Let's fuck him up."
Yeah, that's that guy. Yep. There's twice in the episode where he does say "my wife," and
My wife.
out loud. Yep,
Yes.
my wife to an office full of no one.
They tie him up or take him captive or whatever.
So I thought that storyline was going to go completely differently. I think my note for that was just Sammy's wife is hot. But
No doubt.
I thought like they were going to get into this affair or something. So
Oh, sure.
when they kick his ass in the restaurant and like throw him in a cooler dungeon or wherever he was,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that took a turn I wasn't expecting.
This isn't nearly as sexy as I like.
Exactly. His flashback was actually more interesting than anything in the episode except for the ending.
Okay.
To me.
all right. Yeah.
We cut back to the flame from there. I tried to write some flame-based jokes. Like I was going to do like an Eternal Flame by the Bangles. I was going to do the Flame by Cheap Trick. And I just couldn't find anything. So there's a setup there, but I don't know if there's a punchline.
That's the stated premise of this podcast.
Mikhail's cat is named Nadia. What?
Yeah.
Why did you say that name?
Martha.
Martha. Nadia.
Yeah.
Nadia. Martha. My cat. Who cares? It's named after the Russian gymnast, in case you didn't believe that I was Russian. I fucking love Russian gymnastics, so that's how Russian I am. Iced tea, chess, gymnastics, Russian as fuck.
That does scream Russian, I'm not gonna lie. So when I saw her photo, I was like, hey, that's who I saw on Twitter 2 days ago. Apparently her routine is banned.
Because
And
it would kill a lesser gymnast.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does she do?
Oh, you'll have to
It
look
was-
it up. But she
It's a lot of twirling and stuff.
bouncing
I
and
don't-
like she smashes into the bar, like it's the uneven bars, and she's just like pivoting on her hips and like her shoulders and her neck, and like it's just real buck wild. It's real awesome. Like even as somebody who doesn't watch gymnastics, I watched it and I was like, holy shit.
I just figured it was like, and then she pulls out a gun and plays Russian roulette halfway through. This would kill a lesser gymnast.
You're correct. It would.
Mikhail goes to check on John, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, you're not going to beat that computer. Don't be ridiculous. It's programmed by 3 grandmasters or whatever." And it's like, you don't know what kind of skills John has. Maybe John's a grandmaster.
I've seen the Queen's Gambit. I haven't seen the Queen's Gambit. But yeah, he says something about the computer cheats. And John's like, well, I don't think computers know how to cheat. That's what makes being a human so wonderful or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's like Scooby-Doo taught us that the real monsters were humans all along.
Exactly. Some real gems coming out of old Locke.
Old Johnny Locke.
Johnny Locke.
But yeah, he just goes back to playing chess. Like, this whole situation is going on where it's like, oh, Saeed's shot, and we're learning all this stuff, and John's like, oh shit, what's the move? Is it called castle, where I can move the fucking the knight and the, you know? But it's just like, all right, whatever.
While Mikhail is out of the room, Saeed tells Kate, he's like, okay, I'm pretty sure that Mikhail's full of shit.
There's somebody else here.
Yeah. Not only is he lying, I think he is with the others, but yeah, there's probably another person here that we haven't located.
You know, it's the like Sherlock Holmes, like Saeed's already put everything together from context clues, and Kate's like terrified to learn this information because of how like Saeed's like, sure, like there's someone else in the house, and she's like, what the fuck are you fucking telling me right now?
Right. And I just thought about this now, you mentioning that Kate's been in the hands of the others, and so her apprehension for what they can do is from life experience, whereas Saeed's never, like, Saeed's exposure to them has always been like, after he deals with them, he always gets to go home, whereas Kate got locked up, and so she's like, what, you're kidding me, like, I'm what are we doing then?
I'm not
like,
going back.
Why are we having tea? Let's fucking murk this guy and get out of here. Like,
this tea tastes like shit. John, pack up your fucking chess game. Let's go. Cut back to the beach. Ping pong.
it's gonna be Hurley. Hurley's the guy.
It's gonna be Hurley.
It was very obvious from the get-go.
Yeah. Like, he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Good for you. No racial slurs for a week. Ooh.
Cut back to the flame. Mikhail does some more explaining here. That's all my note says. But then the banter between him and Saeed starts to become more confrontational.
Because they talk a bunch about boats, and we had a sailboat, and there's underwater craft. Just for the edification of all of our listeners, all sinky boats are floaty boats, but not all floaty boats are sinky boats. I learned that from a friend from the Navy. But yeah, Saeed started to probe.
Saeed's like, I straight up shot one of your friends. Are you going to keep up the mask here, or are we going to keep going? I fucking air-holed her on my sailboat. Your move, Mikhail, if that is your real name.
Yeah, and he's just like, let's stop playing this game, and he just fucking tosses the table, whips the iced tea at him.
I love the throwing the pitcher like I just
is very
love
good.
that move. Like, just
But I also love the like, hey, the subterfuge is broken.
Yeah, I'm just done. I've been living alone for a while. I have no capacity for this anymore.
Yeah.
Here's a
I hate you. I hate you. I don't even know you. They start fighting. Eventually, Kate gets the drop on Mikhail and has him at gunpoint. And then after all of this ruckus, then John Locke walks in. He's like, what's going on here?
This gun just waving like, oh, is everything okay? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Is the chess that important?
You guys got this under control. I'm going to go back to chess in here. You guys find any snacks yet?
And then cut like back to when they're originally like walking through the jungle before Saeed finds the cow. He's questioning him from a person who's never seen the show before. It seems like he's in charge, especially it's early 2000s. It's some older white guy. You're like, well, yeah, he's probably in charge. And then turns out he's completely incompetent because as soon as he sees a chess game on a computer, he's absolutely not there anymore.
Like a moth to a flame.
Exactly.
yeah.
The only other thing that would have made it more old white man was if it was like a World War II documentary. Like, oh, I gotta sit down and finish this.
And then he pulls out his spectacles and puts them on.
And then
that would have.
And then he falls asleep watching it. Just like 3 minutes into it. Glass is still perched at the end of his nose.
Oh, when Mikhail put on the fucking glasses to pull out the bullet from Saeed's arm, I was like waiting for him to do something with the eye patch with also the glasses.
I was like, he's going to lift up the eye patch and then put the glasses on.
Exactly.
I don't think you know how eye patches or glasses work, JP.
I definitely do. Anyways, cut to a flashback. Saeed's all tied up.
Sammy comes in with a bag.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it has some tools in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, here it is. Oh no, the consequences of my actions.
Would have been a lot better if it was like sets down the bag and it squeaks like a dog toy.
Oh, I grabbed the wrong bag.
Oh shit.
I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Saeed confesses to having been a torturer in his past, but he says he doesn't recognize AMIRA.
This whole subplot, while interesting, and I think that the payoff is really good, we've already done the Saeed like torture redemption sort of thing. This is a different take on it, but like kind of it's more of the same.
A little bit.
Like.
Having seen the show, this won't be the last time we deal with it either.
Oh, good.
and again, having just watched the Saeed episodes we've seen in the past, and just like being aware of like torture in real life, like torture doesn't lead to any good shit. Like whatever Sammy's looking for, torturing Saeed back, not gonna help.
We here on Lost are taking the rare yet firm stance that torture is bad. Bre, I hope you're okay with that.
I don't know. I am actually going to walk out now.
Yeah, jury's still out on not torture.
Yeah.
So like, but that's like where it's at. He's just like, you know, you're gonna confess to me that you burned my wife with oil, or I'm gonna take you out of her in a bag.
Actually, I really like that line.
The bag
You're
line's
either
pretty
gonna
good,
convince,
actually.
or you're gonna leave this room in that bag. And I was like, ooh, fuck.
And then it would have been cool if he opened the bag and pulled out a fanny pack and be like, oh, not that bag. This bag.
I would have so many extra questions.
And then he opens up the fanny pack and there's like a small, like one of those jewelry zip blocks. Yeah.
Small satchel.
Go back to the flame. Saeed's like, there's somebody else here. And John's like, no, there's nobody here, man. Like, I played chess and I didn't see anybody in the chess room. There's nobody else here. But, oh, check it out. Secret hatch.
There is a somewhat famous outtake from this scene in the Lost sort of fandom.
Oh, really?
Where, yeah, John, John says, well, I don't know where somebody else would be. I've, checked every nook and cranny. The line that they end up using in the final cut is Navian Andrews saying, not every nook and cranny, or he pulls the thing back, but there's an outtake where Navian Andrews just pulls back the thing and screams,
"Not every nook and cranny, John."
They should have kept it.
It's very good. And I feel like if the show would have had more energy like that,
oh, absolutely,
that it truly would be the greatest show of all time.
Yes.
They come back to the flashback right away, I guess. Saeed reveals the hatch as they tie up Mikhail. Back in the flashback, back in what I'm assuming is the kitchen of this restaurant?
That is disturbing.
Yeah.
AMIRA comes in and watches Sammy working Saeed over. And it's exactly what you would expect out of a torture scenario. One guy's punching a tied up guy, and the other guy's like, it wasn't me. And this guy's like, I don't believe you. Tell me what I want to hear. Punch. But then AMIRA's like, okay, cool. That's enough for now. Come back to the flame.
Saeed, with his freshly shot arm, climbs down a ladder and then uses a flashlight with the same arm.
Something tells me it wasn't a real gunshot wound.
What?
The basement's huge. It's like at least as big as the upstairs.
This place is great.
Yeah. And it's just filled with stuff.
All sorts of things.
Binders with like Dharma protocols and pounds and pounds of C4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all hooked up to explode. We do cut back briefly to fucking John playing chess some more.
Chess, yeah.
He leaves a man tied up on the floor.
Yeah.
He looks at him. I was like, just make the right decision, John. You haven't made it so far.
Right.
Absolutely does not make the right decision.
No.
He's like, I can see him. It'll be fine.
I'm
And
sure
this
he's
ex-Russian operative who obviously used to just kill people for a living or whatever he did. He's like, he'll be fine. I have the gun.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about that. It's like, so Locke did miss some of the exposition about Mikhail's history, his experience in the Soviet army, et cetera, et cetera. So he doesn't know all of this stuff, but he would had he not been playing chess again.
But also, it's like in television, you see people get like knocked out with the buttstock of a gun and like they're unconscious for 6 hours or something like that. It's like if they're unconscious for 6 hours, it's because they're bleeding from the brain.
That's super bad for you.
Medical attention.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to make it. Otherwise, somebody gets the shit like knocked out of them. They're usually only unconscious for maybe like 30 seconds, a minute, something like that.
So Saeed finds all this, him and Kate look through these protocols or whatever and stuff like that in the basement. And I think that's around the time where Kate's like, oh shit, look at all the explosives.
Yeah,
but then John beats the computer.
And we get to see what's our friend's name,
Doctor, I think in this instance, because he has a different pseudonym every time he's on.
Does he?
Not every time, but he has various pseudonyms. I believe in this instance he is Dr. Pierre Chang.
Oh, what an interesting plot device that I'm sure will absolutely pay off by the end of this show.
I feel like it ran so long that none of this actually is going to get resolved. But like I said, I didn't watch the show. It just has that feeling for me.
I wouldn't go as far as saying none of it, but certainly not an amount that I think people were happy with in general.
Sure.
But yeah, Francois Chow playing Pierre Chang. He's on here and he's just like video instructions. We've seen this happening at other stations in the past, like, you know, when they're explaining the Pearl, when they're explaining the Swan. And so this is some sort of video message.
If you're trying to get in contact with the mainland, type 38. If comms are down, press 56 for sonar access. If the sonar is broken and there's a hostile incursion, press 77. They said the thing.
He said the thing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, like, an incursion by the hostiles seems like a relatively serious thing, right?
Yeah.
Why would you have to beat the computer at chess to get access to this menu?
That is a valid question.
What happens?
Also, a really hard game of chess, apparently.
Not for John.
What happens if you stink at chess?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, people rotate through these stations. Like, they talk about the instructions for relief at the Pearl.
Just keep pressing 0. Eventually, you get to customer service.
Every time.
And again, this should have been a text menu.
Yeah.
If you're in there and the hostiles are outside and then they can hear you reporting their incursion, they're just going to come in and shoot you and then destroy the computer.
They're going to incur even more.
They're going to incur harder.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some weird nonsense, TV nonsense, I think, maybe. Or maybe Dharma nonsense. I don't know. Maybe, you know, they had Francois for the day and they were just like, we're going to pay him. So it's... Anyway. But yeah, so, like, before he can enter 7-7 on the computer, big surprise, Mikhail has escaped and gets
He's gotten out of his ropes. He's gotten a knife and he's gotten behind John. How did he get behind John?
Ask John. He can't tell you because he's been playing chess for 35 hours.
I thought there was one door into this room. Did he crawl on all fours like one of the fucking little rascals?
He
Like,
probably walked in and just went behind him. No subterfuge or anything. He was just like, oh, that guy's not paying attention.
He like army crawled to the threshold of the door and looked up and saw Locke not paying attention at all and then just stood up and walked over to it. Right around this time, Kate is also jumped by the second other.
oh no!
It's Miss Clue.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I recognized her, but like I didn't know from where. I was like, yeah, whatever. This lady's dead anyway soon.
Yeah. No, it's Miss Clue. We saw her in a Walt episode a while back.
But we haven't seen Kate meet her.
Correct.
That I know of.
We haven't seen her, but Kate does say she was at the ferry. It's kind of the typical two sides in a whatever small space. Like they get the jump on Miss Clue, so they take her hostage. Mikhail's got John Locke hostage, so they drag her up to the top, and they're like, John, what's going on? He's like, I'm outside. I got kidnapped.
Yeah, well, he climbs up with his
injured shoulder,
freshly shot arm. Yeah, so now we've got a fairly tense scene.
Yeah.
Bunch of people yelling, people trying to sort of dominate the conversation. It's sort of like having a podcast with two cis men. Basically, everybody's, you calm down. John's like, he's not going to kill me. And the woman starts speaking Russian to Mikhail, and then John doesn't want them speaking Russian. And
yeah, I hate that if he wanted to kill me, he would have already. It's like,
right.
Yeah.
They say that
he's very confident.
They say that in so many different shows and movies and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I feel like at this point we should all accept that if you're going to kill your hostage, you do it at the most opportune time. You don't just do it right away because you're going to do it anyway.
Right. If he just wanted to run off into the jungle, yeah, he would have killed you and done that, but he's stuck by because you're a bargaining tool.
Exactly.
And you guys were in the basement with his friend, so there's a non-zero chance that you're going to come up with his friend because you outnumber the friend.
I kind of wanted him to shoot him.
Yeah. Right?
just blast John away.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, like he says that. He's like, I hate when people say that. I'm going to kill you. I wasn't going to, and now I'm going to. Pow.
Yeah.
I don't like the smugness.
Yeah, sort of on principle now.
Don't pretend to know me. We just met.
The conversation in Russian, which I didn't translate, Adam, did you?
I did it in my head.
I did not, but it is translated on the Enter 77 trivia page. It basically just boils down to, we have protocols. If stuff like this happens, you know what you have to do.
Then he's like, quick, tell me the Netflix password. And he's like, once I tell you, you're going to shoot me. And then she tells him the Netflix password, and he shoots her. And then they fight somehow, and Mikhail's like, kill me. And Saeed's like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, this whole fight thing, like, he killed her to try and gain the upper hand, possibly.
Well, I think it's more of a denying the enemy sort of thing.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot her because then she's toast, and I assume they'll kill me then.
I suppose. It's a big gamble because he shoots her and then they don't kill him.
He should have shot John, and then they probably would have killed him. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cut to the beach. Oh, hey, guess what? Sawyer lost to Hurley.
Oh, geez.
We just had gunplay and a person getting murdered. And you want to just talk about ping pong real quick?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he's like, I'll give you some of your stuff back.
Yeah.
Oh, like we talked about earlier, he's really just worried about Kate.
Yeah. And Hurley gassed him up a little bit, too. He's just like, hey, man, he's not trying to bully Sawyer back or anything like that. Like, he's trying to, I don't know, find some... He's trying to get... Because we see this again in a later episode. We're seeing Hurley trying to build Sawyer up to be better.
Yeah, to be the leader.
To be like a leader. Yeah, exactly. Come back to the flame. They are preparing to bug out. Saeed's found himself a map of wires? Was it wires and electronics?
Yeah, Saeed loves finding maps.
Oh man, he's a map guy. Saeed he's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I also don't need you because this map shows the barracks. This is probably where we're headed, and so now we know how to get there. But you're coming with us anyway because I don't want to kill you.
He's like, I didn't say you were my ticket. I have the map.
Right.
I just don't feel like killing you.
Flashback. AMIRA comes back to visit Saeed. They have a conversation about
cats.
Yeah, like how she saw this cat being bullied by local kids. She saved the cat. The cat still has trauma because it's a cat, and you don't really know how to heal a cat from trauma all the way. But as humans, we have the tools to heal from trauma. So if you have things that happened to you in the past, instead of just suffering through PTSD in silence, you can find support and find things that can hypothetically make you better, make you whole again, or at least as whole as you can be.
Sure, yeah. Want to go on the record saying fuck them kids.
I mean,
exactly.
They're assholes.
Fuck them
They're
kids.
psychopaths.
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Firecrackers in a box with honestly.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's
it's
some serial killer shit.
Yeah. But this very lovely parable that AMIRA tells Saeed does get Saeed to confess. And it's not like Saeed's ever been happy with being a torturer, he kind of got roped into it.
It's a living.
I guess.
I mean, he was coerced in a way himself into having done that first one. He was tricked by his DIA handler. And it's one of those things, it's you can't unring a bell. It's well, Saeed can never be a guy that never did that. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you do? I guess you lead into it. And it's like Kelvin said when he's like, well, now you got a set of skills. And it's this is a bad skill.
It's not one of the skills I wanted. I was hoping baking, maybe.
Yeah. Hanging drywall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anything.
Painting would have been nice.
Yeah, but no, I know now that if I pull a guy's fingernails out with a pliers, he might tell me something. He might confess to a crime he did not commit.
I feel like you could have found that out without having to do it. But, to each their own. Some people are, kinetic learners.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like, my loan agency for my student loans being like, you went to college, now you've got these skills that we gave you. I'm like, yeah, but I went to film school, so really I'm just good at being unemployed and stealing catalytic converters. Anyways,
AMIRA cuts him loose. She's like, letting my husband kill you is not going to make me feel any better. I'm as good as I feel as good as I can.
I really like the exchange where he's like, I've seen your face
every day,
and it haunts me.
Yeah.
You really believe that he is sorry for all the horrible shit he did.
Right. And in this case, it's karmic torture. He physically tortured a bunch of people, and now he's going to be tortured himself back psychologically, having to live with the memories of all the horrible things he's done. Wheel never stops turning. Come back to the jungle. Saeed then explains to Mikhail, he's like, I'm not going to kill you because I'm trying to be better,
Yeah, oh my God. Fucking JL walks up. I know why let me say that one more time. He walks up. I know why you didn't want me to beat the game of chess.
He should have shot him. He should have shot him. That's all I'm saying.
The building fucking explodes.
Yeah. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
I mean, cool guys don't look at explosions. However, John must have understood that something about, okay, I hit the 77. That means that security protocols or the building's gonna, whatever. Again, he wasn't there to learn about the building being wired up with explosives because he was fucking playing chess. But like, he knows something is going to happen, and he walks up and does not. And he's like, Mikhail, I know a secret that only you and I know now.
Like some obnoxious 12-year-old.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. But do you remember the episode we watched where they shoved Mikhail through the fence?
Yeah.
That same episode, they're like, Kate goes to dig in Locke's backpack and she finds a brick of C4. Oh. Locke knew exactly what the fuck was going on. Somewhere in between Mikhail being tied up and led out of the house by Saeed and him beating the computer and going back, he must have gone into the basement, got some C4, finished playing chess, typed in Enter 77. The computer, I gotta think, must have gave him some sort of countdown or something. I don't know why I'd have a countdown. Like, if the intent is to destroy all this stuff so it doesn't fall into the hands of the hostiles or whatever.
Well, maybe if you want to cancel the explosion, you got to win another game. You got to win a game at Gallica.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere in where he's just lying to his friends. Oh, all I did was play chess one more time. Bullshit. You went in the basement. You found C4. You probably did another.
I didn't think
you came in.
that.
You knew that the station was going to blow up at some point. All of that. It all happened. And it all happened off screen in this episode. Like, even the audience doesn't find out that this happened until whatever that episode is later.
But yeah, he knew it was going to explode, and his ass just like sauntered on down, like, there's nothing to worry about.
Didn't consult his friends about
He
it.
didn't even move the horse or anything.
Yeah, he doesn't untie the horse. Poor horse gets all exploded. Or maybe, I don't know, he had time to go get C4. Maybe let the horse go.
I feel like he didn't think that deep into it. He was just like, I'm going to take my little explosives.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, the farmhouse explodes. I think Rousseau came back at this point too.
Yeah,
She was just like, "Hey, I thought you guys were all dead, but like, I guess you're still alive, and we got a prisoner now."
Wild.
I guess I have plans now.
Yeah, Saeed's just like, "We got to get out of here." And
Yeah, that explosion's gonna garner some attention.
yeah, and they head out, and that's it.
And he stares at the cat. The cat made it.
The cat made it, which is good.
Good for a guy.
Nadia.
Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name?
That's it. Enter 77.
Did we like it? Was it good? Bre, why don't you start us off?
I was willing to watch another episode to see what else happened. But like we talked about, there were like a lot of holes, a lot of ways it could have gone better. But it's somewhere in the middle of good and bad. It was okay.
Sure. I think that all of the like Mikhail exposition dump stuff was interesting just because it's giving us, little nuggets of more of what we want. But I feel like the way in which we get there and the John just like being a fucking child with the chess and the ping pong stuff, I'm just kind of like, I like some of the cabin stuff kind of, but like, I don't know, I feel just weird about this episode. Adam, maybe you can expand on that.
If I'm rating this episode, I got to give it like a C.
Yeah,
because
fair.
it wasn't dog shit,
right.
But like,
we've definitely watched worse episodes, but the B plot, like we said, no stakes. Might as well not even have happened.
It's trash.
It didn't even progress the storyline of what's happening at the beach. I think because while Jack, Kate, Locke, Saeed are away, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Without them, those survivors, all they can do is survive. They can't further their quest for rescue, etc., etc. The flashback, again, it's a version of a story we've seen already. Not only us on Lost, but the chronological audience.
I love Saeed as a character, and he just didn't have a ton to do in this episode. Like, I typically love Locke, but he was annoying as fuck in this episode.
This is my first introduction to him, so
This is a bad
hate
introduction
him.
to him. Yeah.
I will never love him.
Oh.
But without that good character stuff that Lost needs to really stand tall, it's just kind of whatever. There are a lot of episodes in season 3 which end up giving me personally this feeling because of the lack of a cohesive plan for the end of the story. They drag out this, like I said, this mission, this A-Team mission to rescue Jack takes episodes and episodes and episodes. This is something that had they known how long they were going to do the story, they could have tightened up. They could have cleaned it up. They could have made it happen quicker, more action, more just better pace. I don't know.
Let's take this episode and I just want to like rewrite it.
Yeah.
I want there to be like a fucking storm that comes through or something at night, like it's raining, and once the okay, he still shoots Saeed or whatever, but now we're locked in the house at night with Mikhail, and it's like a horror story thing, and the audience comes to learn that there's somebody else in the house.
Yeah.
Instead of him making that discovery himself.
Right, and
You
just
would
like
know
telling
that,
the
yeah.
audience,
And-
you know, like there,
Yeah.
you could have done so much with this.
And with the B plot, give the survivors on the beach, give them some stakes. Give them a monster of the week thing. Give them, they've got a small problem they got to deal with that is a problem.
Yeah.
Not Sawyer's nicknames. That's a problem, but that doesn't need screen time.
Yeah.
Like, were they adding it? I don't know if they were adding it for like levity or whatever, but
Maybe.
it ended
Sort
up
of.
being too light where it could honestly not have been a part of the episode at all.
Right.
Episode could have been 15 minutes shorter
Right.
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
that.
Because like Hurley and Charlie are there, and they're our de facto comedic reliefs for the show, and they did nothing funny.
Charlie wasn't even in the episode.
Yeah, he was. He was at the ping pong table.
Charlie might as well not have even been in the episode.
All right. Well, with that, you want to do some MVPs?
We better. We should.
All right, let's fucking do it.
The lost MVP. The best character of Enter 77. Who's just, the MVP. I'm not expounding on it
AMIRA.
anymore. The most valuable survivor. Bre, start us off.
AMIRA. I think she had the most interesting story, and
Yeah.
like I know she was a flashback character.
like that. No, I like
but,
that.
It's the only episode I've ever watched. So out of everybody, I just think she had a more interesting. She was just the most interesting person in the episode.
Sure.
You just like the way she looks, and you want to smooch her.
It's a little bit of both.
But flashback characters often become present storyline characters. So maybe if there's another AMIRA episode, we'll have you back for that.
JP, what do you think? Who's your lost MVP?
Fucking Russo. She's
Yeah.
like, you fucking people are up to what? Nah, I'm out of here. I'm walk. You know how like Godzilla walks into the ocean, at the end of a Godzilla movie, he's just
Yeah.
like, I'm done with this shit. That's Rousseau. She's just like, she's Godzilla walking out of here, and I love that energy. Adam, MVP.
I originally had it as Saeed for lack of a better option, just for learning that torture is bad. But as we talked about it, I'm changing it to Mikhail again.
Oh, yeah.
For being interesting, for presenting us, the audience, with
Oh,
something new
dude,
and compelling.
Great fucking pick.
And while they won't go on to expound on it more often, Mikhail is continually just relegated to the sidelines throughout. They brought a new character on, a new recurring character, and this is a gold mine here for some great shit. So I'm not going to ding him in this episode for not doing anything with it, but the establishment of Mikhail, the character here, I fucking loved it.
When he's like, let's stop playing this game, and he just
Yeah.
starts the fight. Dude, I'm like, I'm in.
He's
Yeah.
calculating. He's a man of action. He's mysterious.
I don't want him to die. You know, I'm not like, oh, he's a villain, I just hate him. I'm like, what is this guy's deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a
great
great
pick.
pick.
But there's a flip side to this coin.
Exactly. The other side, the lost forever. The person who really we could have done without. They kind of got in their own way. They got in our way. They got in the audience's way. Tripping over themselves. If you can't improve the silence, don't say anything. Lost forever. Who do you got for us, Bre?
I think we all know that I hate John Locke.
I was already
nothing but
typing
bad
it before
things
you
for
even
him.
started talking.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Like I guess he does add some to the episode because obviously he's the reason for the explosion, but I don't like him, and nothing you guys say or do will ever make me like him. I hope he stubs his toe.
Nice.
There's a really funny bit where he puts an orange in his mouth and he smiles, and it's like he's got an orange smile.
And even then, it's weird.
Anyways,
Even when he does that, it's
now I
weird.
want him to be punched in the face.
okay, that's fair. He builds a trebuchet at one point. Boy, I'm really trying to think of why I love John Locke so much.
For the meme.
He always tucks his shirt into his pants like an old man.
What about you, JP? Who's your lost forever?
I was gonna say the kids at the fireworks and the cap, but I'm gonna say John Locke.
I don't think this is the first time you've taken Locke, actually.
It's not. John has drank the island Kool-Aid, but episodes where they're not Locke episodes, he's often miswritten and there's a lot of like missed continuity in terms of like how John Locke would act when he's not the main character.
Yeah.
And this was completely fucked up in this episode. There was no continuity. It didn't feel like the same guy that he doesn't seem like the man I fell in love with. So yeah, jail.
Yeah, John Locke.
Adam?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You guys nailed it already. Like, he does so many things that are so easy to dislike in this episode. Yeah, he's miswritten. Everything that he does in this episode, I just don't buy that Locke would actually do it. Like, being so distracted. Like, and maybe this is, I don't know. Like, we watched that episode where near the tail end of this mission, and Locke's like, oh, I'm changing teams. I'm joining the others. Like, yeah, I don't know where the shift happened. And maybe we just haven't seen the shift, but like, maybe it's got something to do with the hatch blowing up, his run-in with Ben or whatever, but like he just, it seems mischaracterized. Like Locke was hyper-vigilant, he was a protector, he was all of this stuff in the early days, and now he's just like, he's zoned out. It was his idea to head out in this direction anyway with the echo stick and the bearing or whatever, and then along the way he's just doing nothing to protect Saeed, nothing to protect Kate. It's just and then again blowing up the farmhouse without consulting them. Like that just seemed like
or warning them that it's about to explode. That's more my concern.
What if someone forgot a bag in there and they're like, oh, be right back?
I mean, cover your damn ears. You can blow your eardrums out.
Yeah.
There's that too.
Triple John Locke.
Well, Bre, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you want to plug?
I have a really cute dog.
Nice. All right. Well, give us a picture of the dog and we'll put it on social media.
Dope. Pause for war.
Yeah, pause of war. Fuck yeah, that's a good one. Nice. Hell yeah. That'll come up in the work trip mini episode.
Okay,
cool.
Adam, what are we watching next time?
Yeah, what are we watching next time? If you, the audience out there, are trying to be lost with us, please tune in next time. We are going to be talking about season 3, episode 16. One of Us, centric character Juliet Burke.
Bre, you might have to come back on for that one. There's a very pretty lady in that one, too.
And in case you forgot, we are also going to be covering Missing Pieces number 2, The Adventures of Hurley and Frogurt, centric characters Hurley and Frogurt.
All right, I might be back in on the Missing Pieces thing.
Yes.
I was so mad when you said Missing Pieces, and now I'm so excited because you just said Frogurt.
Fuck yeah, the mysterious Frogurt. Right. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about his adventures with Hurley. And we'll probably only spend about 10 minutes on One of Us and probably 40 or 45 on the adventures of Hurley and Frogurt. So yeah, come back in a couple weeks and check that out. I want to say thank you again to Bre for taking the time out of her day to talk Lost with us.
All right. Well, and yeah, thank you out there for tuning in to this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yep. I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
I'm Bre.
And she's Bre. Do you have any idea what's going on in this show?
Nope.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.